Now, US President Donald Trump's aggressive push to dictate oil flows in the Americas has widened with seizure of tankers linked to Venezuela. This seizure has escalated military and political tensions in the region. The White House says the US will control sales of sanctioned Venezuelan oil indefinitely as it prepares to roll back restrictions on the country's crude in global markets. Amid all this, the US Senate is going to vote on Trump's Venezuela policy on Thursday.
After capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro from Caracas in a Saturday military raid, the US is escalating its blockade of vessels which are under sanctions and going to and from the South American country, which is a member of the OPEC oil group. On Wednesday, the US seized two Venezuela-linked oil tankers in Atlantic Ocean, one sailing under Russia's flag. Russia sharply condemned the United States' seizure of oil tankers, branding the actions a violation of international law and an act of piracy. Kremlin accused the United States of stoking military and political tensions, adding that it was worried by Washington's willingness to generate acute international crisis situations. China also slammed US action, calling it a violation of international law.
China has always opposed illegal unilateral sanctions without the basis of international law and without the authorization of the United States Security Council.
The White House said the US will control sales of sanctioned Venezuelan oil indefinitely as it prepares to roll back restrictions on the country's crude in global markets. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the United States has a three-step plan for Venezuela that will begin with stabilizing the country, overseeing the country's recovery, and finally, a transition.
Step one is the stabilization of the country. We don't want it descending into chaos. Part of that stabilization, and the reason why we understand and believe that we have the strongest leverage possible, is our quarantine. As you've seen today, 2 more ships were seized. We are in the midst right now and in fact about to execute on a deal to take all the oil. They have oil that is stuck in Venezuela. They can't move it because of our quarantine and because it's sanctioned. We are going to take between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime. So we have a lot of leverage to move on the stabilization front.
US President Donald Trump has also made it clear that Venezuela would use revenue from a new oil deal exclusively to purchase American-made goods. In a social media post, Trump said the purchases would include American agri-products, medicines, medical devices, and equipment to improve the electric grid and energy facilities, amongst other things. On the other hand, Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, expressed her willingness for energy partnerships with other nations, but made it clear that agreements should comply with international law.
Venezuela is open to energy relations where all parties benefit, where economic cooperation is very well determined in commercial contracts. That is our position and the diversity of our energy relations.
Meanwhile, the US Senate is due to consider a resolution on Thursday that would block President Donald Trump from taking further military action against Venezuela without congressional authorization, and backers said the measure could pass in a close vote. Bureau Report, DD India.